Welcome back everyone to another Urban Legends video. Today we have a country that is very dear to my heart, Ireland. Its history goes back thousands of years and contains many amazing stories. Some of them are pretty scary though. They've survived since ancient times. Does this mean there is some truth to them? Let's see what you think. My name is Danny Burke and this is the top 10 scary Irish urban legends. Starting off at number 10 now, we have the Demon Bridge of County Monaghan. This is a story of death. The Demon Bride is said to have terrorized funeral goers for at least 200 years. Her victims now lie in the churchyards where they fell. Across County Monaghan, people report the same thing. The Demon Bride watches funerals and waits as the deceased are laid to rest. As everyone leaves, the Demon Bride approaches a young man straggling behind. She transforms into a beautiful young woman and makes him promise to meet her a month from that day back there at the graveyard. She seals the deal with a kiss and then vanishes. As he leaves the graveyard, his blood runs cold and a deep sense of despair washes over him. He realizes he has sold his body and soul to the evil spirit and his life has been forfeited. Over the next month, he descends into madness before eventually dying. He is laid to rest in the same graveyard as before, exactly a month after he first met the Demon Bride, his promise fulfilled. Next up at number 9 now, we have the Banshee. The Banshee is a female spirit that wails in the night as a sign that death is coming for a family member. Legend says the Banshee has long streaming hair, wears a grey cloak over a green dress, and her eyes are red from constant weeping. According to the Ancient Legends of Ireland book, the Banshee may be seen at night as a shrouded woman crouched beneath the trees, lamenting with veiled face or flying past the moonlight crying bitterly, and the cry of this spirit is mournful beyond all other sounds on earth and betokens certain death for some member of the family whenever it is heard in the silence of the night. Could not think of a more scary description myself if I tried. Moving on to number 8 now, we have the Durgdu. Many countries have a vampire legend. This is the Irish one. The name translates from Irish as red bloodsucker. Originally, the Durgdu was a normal girl who lived over 2,000 years ago. She was said to be beautiful with blood red lips and pale blonde hair. Her true name has been lost in the sands of time, overshadowed by what she became. Men travelled from all over Ireland in the hopes of just being with her. However, she fell in love with a local man who was very poor. He was perfect for her, but without money, her father would never let them marry. Instead, he married her off to an old, cruel man who abused her. He liked to draw blood from her while she was locked up in a tower cell. One day, she gave up hope of her true love ever rescuing her and committed suicide by refusing to eat. Her dying breath was a vengeance against the living. Her undead corpse rose from the earth on the night she was buried, thirsting for the blood that was taken from her. She was now the Durgdu, stealing blood from children, from the innocent, and especially from young men. She would call to them in the night with a haunting siren song that lured them to their deaths. Some say she still wanders the Irish countryside at night, calling out to her next victim. At number 7 now, we have the Changelings. These are mythical fairy creatures that take the place of a newborn human child that has been stolen by the fairies. The fairies will steal the child to act as a servant for them. Families would try and see if their baby was actually a changeling through a number of different ways. One of them involved placing them over a fire. If the baby was a changeling, it would leave by just climbing up the chimney. The real child would then be returned. It was thought that the fairies preferred to steal baby boys. As a result, many Irish families would dress their baby boys in dresses to confuse the fairies. Moving on to number 6 now, we have the Dullahan. The Dullahan is a headless rider of the night who carries his own head under one arm. His mouth is locked in a hideous grin that touches both sides of his head. His flesh is rotting and he uses the spine of a human for a horsewhip. His job is as a foreteller of death. When he stops riding, a person is due to die. He will call out the person's name, at which point they drop to the floor dead. There is no way to stop the Dullahan. All locks and gates open when he approaches. They don't like being watched either and will throw blood over anyone who dares to do so. This is also taken as a mark that they are among the next to die. Moving on to number 5 now, we have the Fetch. The Fetch is a supernatural double of a living person. You can have your own Fetch. They're like a doppelganger but with much more sinister undertones. Their sightings are regarded as an omen of impending death. If a person sees this dark double of themselves, it's said to mean they are going to die soon. Sometimes the Fetch may even have a clue as to how that person will die, perhaps a bullet wound in the head or a slash across the chest. context. Either way, it's not something you want to come across in your life. The fetch is said to appear ghostly or shadowy and may vanish down alleyways or halls if followed. At number 4 now we have the puka. According to Irish folklore, these are strange little creatures obsessed with causing as much havoc as possible. They visit farms and seaside communities to tear down fences and disturb the animals there. The creepy part is that the legend says the puka sometimes just stand outside of a farmhouse and calls the people outside by their name. If anyone steps out, the puka will carry them away forever. There are stories of them being bloodthirsty and vampire-like creatures, as well as ones that describe them as man-eating beings, hunting down, killing, and eating their victims. Next at number 3 now we have the Alp-Luachra. This creature is also known as the joint eater. Don't worry, it doesn't eat your joints, but this creature does something just as strange. It's said to be a newt-like creature that preys on people who fall asleep near rivers or streams. It jumps down their throat and lives in their stomach so that it can eat the victim's food. In the collection of folk tales called Beside the Fire, a farmer was starving from an Alp-Luachra that was in his stomach, and he found a way to get rid of the creature. He ate large amounts of salted meat until he could eat no more. Then he lay by a stream with his mouth open. The Alp-Luachra was driven to thirst by all the salt, and eventually they all jumped out of the man and into the water. Gross. Moving on to number 2 now, we have the Black Cat of Killakee House. There is said to be a beast that wanders the forests of County Dublin around the old Killakee house. The animal has been sighted for centuries there, and people say it's supernatural. For a lot of people, for a while, this was nothing more than a superstition. That was until 1968 when a young couple bought the Killakee house and started renovating it. The hired workers there reported strange noises and events and a big black cat with demonic eyes that haunted them. It would appear and disappear in a moment. The owners didn't believe them until they saw it too, just standing in the hallways staring at them and snarling. The couple got a priest to perform an exorcism on the house, which seemed to get rid of the beast for a while. Then a group of actors held a seance in the house which brought the black cat back, and with many people now saying it still prowls there to this day. And finally at number 1 now we have the Sluagh. Some say these spectral creatures are demons, but a closer term would probably be malicious spirits. The Sluagh are dead sinners who have been doomed to spend an eternity hunting for the souls of people who are dying. According to Irish folklore, they come from the west, flying like a flock of birds, trying to enter a house where they sense someone is dying in order to steal their soul and rob them of a happy afterlife. It was said that many families would actually shut their west-facing windows at all times to keep the Sluagh out of their homes. Some folklore experts have compared this to the Wild Hunt, a European folktale about ghostly hounds or spirits travelling around in packs foretelling of death and disaster. Well, some of those are pretty dark, but that's the whole fun with urban legends. We've done almost 10 countries now, I think, but there are obviously so many more out there. Let me know if your country has some good urban legends, and perhaps we'll do one of those in the next video. Thank you for watching, guys. My name is Danny Burke, and I'll see you all in the next video.